Hey there, let's check out the April garden tour.
The garden vista is gradually growing into an edible jungle. There's a new growing space to the left of the tomato alley where I will plant some flowers. I also made a grandmother's garden location to remind me of my two lovely grandmothers that adored hummingbirds and gardening. This area currently has petunias and a peach-colored rose. Tomato Alley is finally expanding with tomatoes, watermelon, sunflowers, and potatoes. Cucamelon here, marigolds at every corner. And this is a watermelon. This is a baby bush. I'm also experimenting with sturdy tomato cages as trellises for the melons I grow this year. The wonderful thing about growing potatoes is having a harvest 3 months after planting the seeds. After harvesting, I can replace the potatoes with tomato plants later in the growing season. Future plans for this area: interplant corn with the potatoes and plant more tomatoes, sunflowers, cosmos, and okra. The aeration pots area is thriving with calendula, nasturtium, kale, and cauliflower. I also planted some sweet potatoes for the first time, so we'll see how these do. Future plans for the aeration pots: add more pots in the back and move the roseberry plant to a different location. The lantern garden now has a pea trellis, but check out the chicory plant.
This is the chicory plant from last year.
I also had much more success with the bean plants from planting seeds a bit later. I planted the beans with the peas this year. This marshmallow root plant has expanded from last year. I'm hoping it will bloom this year as well. I also planted some cone flowers here, which should produce a beautiful watermelon colored flower sometime in June. Current plans for this area: plant cucumber, squash, and peppers. The wildlife area needs twigs and leaves added to the Ladybug Hotel to keep the ladybugs around. As for paw crossing, there's some pots along the bridge now. Future plans for this area: add some aeration pots to fill the gaps and add pet-friendly plants to enhance it as a sensory garden for the dog and cat. Here's the state of the boardwalk. Thanks for the name suggestion, Wolf. I have to admit, I was a little worried about dividing this area, but I find myself adoring it as it expands. Currently, there's some volunteer cleome growing in the back. These plants were growing with the corn last year. I am so happy they self-seeded. I moved the lavender over here as the plant wasn't looking very comfortable in the small pot. I planted some petunias and alyssum here instead. The ladybugs have been drawn to this chamomile, likely due to some tiny pests crawling on it. You'll have to forgive me as I sing to them for a moment. Ladybugs, ladybugs. While I'm here, I think it's about time to stake the chamomile so I don't step on the blooms. There we go. Not the prettiest stakes, but it will do. Future plans for this area: plant melons, squash, and tomatoes. Every month I look back. How was it different in January 2020 compared to January 2021? And for a while there, I really did think I was a couple months behind because I didn't start my seeds early. But the reality is, I realized in April that this garden is so much more full than it was last year. And every year I keep growing. It seems like it's running itself now. Or I could just be on autopilot. Pretty impressed with how April 2021 is coming along. Here's the state of the strawberry patch. The area is gradually expanding with strawberries. Over here, I have marigolds, peas, and other seedlings that I need to transplant soon. The lemon balm is spreading out. Have I mentioned that I love the smell of this plant? Plus, it's a wonderful way to repel mosquitoes and flies. The coneflower plant surprised me when they expanded, and I can't believe the rutabaga is still around. I also planted some petunias that will hopefully provide some vibrant blooms. There you have it, the state of the garden, April 2021. Until next time.